the other person could have, let's say, a red mark or a scratch. Good morning, everybody. This is David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solver. Thank you for logging on and being with us today at the Problem Solver. Today, it is 11 o'clock. It is Tuesday, and we're here today to solve some problems. I have some great people that are here today helping people in Las Vegas. I just wanted to recap, like I normally do in the beginning of the show, what I do, what the show's about. So again, I'm David Kohlmeyer, happen to be a retired police officer from Henderson in New York City. I served the communities for 17 years, and I basically, did that job as solving problems every day in uniform. I've been retired for the last 6 years, and I'm now trying to give back to the community by helping people by solving problems one problem at a time. With that being said, every single week, I have some special guests that are either community leaders or nonprofits or people that are making a difference in the community, and I'm trying to share their message because a lot of people just do not know, about the nonprofits and do not know about the different programs that are out there. So I am basically bringing this stuff to you. We are live on Go Live Vegas, which is a network. It's an app. If you go to download the apps, it is Go Live Vegas. You can go there, download it. It's a network, has some different great shows, audio and video. And every single Tuesday, the Problem Solver will air live. And if you have questions or concerns, or if you want to participate with, you want to share a problem, we can answer the problem, or we may even refer you to either a legal team, an attorney, a nonprofit leader, or someone that runs these different social services, the groups. So I want to basically be able to help people. I am personally 24/7. I can be reached at 702-400-7474. Again, that's 702-400-7474. That's my personal cell phone. You can text and call anytime that you like. Any questions that you may have, anything I can do to help you, that is my goal. We also have this great progressive web app. There's a QR code on your screen. You can basically use your camera and scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. And it will get you to the problemsolver.vegas, which is a progressive web app. If we go to the laptop here, basically we will see that we have an app that basically goes onto your home screen. It's something that you add to your home screen. It does not take any battery life and memory from your phone. It's a newer technology. If you go here to the top, it says, we'll just go through the tabs real quickly. Legal issue, podcast for all the different episodes in the past. Reviews, if you want to leave a review of how I solved a problem or some of my colleagues help solve a problem, that would be great. If you want to meet, several people have messaged me that they want to meet and talk about a specific problem or that they need help. I'd be more than happy to meet anywhere locally in town. We have some merchandise, some shirts. You could basically share this to other people. We have events and resources. The biggest tab that we have here is resources. And if you click on resources, there's different PDFs that I get weekly from different nonprofits. And basically, you can go down the PDFs and basically see what is available. There's job fairs, there's community resources, there's social services that are helping seniors with COVID right now. There's some groups that are helping people as well. So there's a list of different, whatever nonprofit is out there, I have them on the list here to help people. So please go to, again, theproblemsolver.vegas. If you want to also contact me, there's contact information. We also have social media on Facebook. We are live on all these different social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, Twitter, Periscope. It seems like we're on every single social media platform these days. So, there's no reason not to log on and watch us for the hour. And if you want to share this information, I would ask you guys to like, comment, and share. Share it to the different groups that you belong to so you can basically get the message out. Even if this one podcast, goes out and helps 5 or 10 people, we're really making a difference in people's lives. So again, thank you for joining us with the Problem Solver. We have the app, you have my phone number, you have everything possible. For this week, basically, some of the problems I basically dealt with is, if you go onto the Problem Solver Facebook page, myself. There's actually a horrific accident. The person survived, and luckily I'm able to get them some legal help using the Richard Harris law firm that's helping basically take on the case. But luckily there was injuries, but the person survived. It was a horrific car accident in general. It's been a little bit slower this week. I've got some phone calls with people with housing. So we're referring to some people for housing that that could be on the street. So I'm working with several different nonprofits, getting people housing in general. So again, text, email, phone calls, use the app. Any problem, please let me know. Today, basically, I'm gonna have two special guests that I'm gonna bring on right now that are sitting next to me here. The nonprofit is called Shine a Light, and today I basically have Paul Vautrinot and Rob Benghart. And I want to thank you guys for coming today. We got Rob here to my right, and then we got Paul over here. So I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast TV show. And I wanted to basically talk to you guys because you guys are doing incredible work in the community, and I wanted you guys to share your story and how you're helping people, because a lot of people don't even know. When you say shine a light, I mean, I understand it now, but like as listeners are listening, like, what is shine a light, So, Paul, do me a favor, introduce yourself, and then Rob, and we'll do a little bit of an introduction first.
Yeah, my name is Paul Vautrinot. I'm the executive director for Shine a Light. Person in long-term recovery for about 6.5 years now. I work for another nonprofit called Freedom House Sober Living, as well as Crossroads of Southern Nevada. Both I serve as their programs director.
So the Freedom House, how is it connected to Shine a Light?
Freedom House basically adopted Shine a Light about 4 years ago, took us in under their nonprofit. We are a Freedom House program currently. We serve as the outreach arm. So essentially they help set us up and get us on our feet. Freedom House itself houses 60 adult men for transitional housing, anything for diversion, substance use disorder, or mental health. And we have a 40-bed male inpatient program as well, which is a 90-day program for those that might need a higher level of care and some clinical intervention. And we have a 16-bed females program as well.
All right, so Shine a Light is connected with Freedom House, and Freedom House is supporting Shine a Light, correct?
Correct.
And then, Rob, tell us about yourself. What's your title with Shine a Light?
My title with Shine a Light is
Move the mic a little bit closer.
My title is Outreach Director, and I am the program manager for Freedom House as well.
Okay. So, again, both you guys connected to Shine a Light and Freedom House, and they're both nonprofits, right? One's a foundation?
Correct.
Okay, so Shine a Light's a foundation, and then Freedom House is a nonprofit, right?
Yep.
So tell us, so where are you from originally?
I was originally born in New Jersey. I've been in Las Vegas for about 21 years.
Okay, great. And then, Paul, where are you from?
Born and raised Vegas.
Vegas. So you're like a 5%, right? Because they say 5% of the people
Yeah.
live in Vegas. Born in Vegas.
It's better than a 1%er.
That's true. So, okay. So tell us about Shine a Light. Whoever wants to basically take lead, tell us about the program in general.
So Shine a Light is 100% volunteer ran. We go out every Saturday from about 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday. So it's there's a lot of levels. So essentially, our outreach arm is to make the introduction. So we go out, we pack up a bunch of bags, load up a bunch of cars. We have team leads. Team leads are usually compiled of people that have been with us for about a year or so that have been helping volunteer the entire time, and they've become familiar with certain tunnels. We're very specific about each lead has a certain set of tunnels. That way there's always a familiar face that's going underground to talk to the people that might reside. And essentially we're just handing out water bottles with 5 or 6 batteries, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some toiletries, toothbrush, socks. Socks is a big thing. But really the whole idea of what the outreach arm is doing is to make relationships, to get to know people, to introduce ourselves, to strike up a conversation. And the idea is...
Let's just recap one thing, because I think you guys are involved in it every day. So Shine a Light is that you guys are going into these tunnels. We have some pictures right now on the screen. You guys are going inside the tunnels, and you're basically trying to do nonprofit work to basically help people that are living, that are struggling, basically underground.
Right. So the idea is to get to know them, to build relationships, friendships. That's the whole idea of us going underground, is to make friends with these guys.
Got it.
Because really, I lived underground myself, and I can tell you that I was not open to the idea of leaving. You know, it
You
really
wanted to
never.
stay there.
I mean, there's this false sense of security that comes from being down there. You feel like you're protected. You feel like you're safe. There's 4 walls. You've got cover. You can leave stuff down there and leave that area and come back and it's all still there. Like,
More protected.
Sure. And the idea, though, is to kind of establish long-term relationships so that if the day comes that they're ready to try something different, they call us.
Okay.
And it's not a 1,000-pound phone of calling a stranger and asking for help, or walking down to a program and signing up to get on a list, to get on a bed. The idea is you're calling somebody that you've known now for X amount of time, that we've been talking to and building a relationship with weekly, and just saying, hey, Paul, Rob, I think, I want to try whatever it is that you guys have to offer.
I think one thing that I've seen is really good too is a lot of times we'll reach out to these people and build the relationships with them, and maybe they never ask for help, but they maybe have somebody, hey, this guy needs to get out, or hey, this guy's not doing so well, why don't you go check on him over here, as we've developed these relationships over time, you know what I mean?
Got it. So, just to recap, so I was a police officer for 17 years. I never did this in New York City, but I did in the pictures again that we're seeing, where your group basically going out there and helping people. I actually did community policing in Henderson, and I actually did connect one time. Community policing units will overlap with Metro and Henderson. So I went with Metro, and we basically went into the tunnels, and I forgot exactly where we were, but it was more like actually it was right by the Vegas sign. The Vegas sign over there. So those tunnels right to the left that I'm thinking about it now.
Very well.
And so I went down there, and again, community outreach, whatever like that. And I'll be honest with you, it was definitely very dangerous. I mean, we're going as police officers, right? Where I also think that people that are down there, which is one of the questions I was going to ask you, is that I think that if someone's down there and they see the police, they think they're going to be arrested or cited for trespassing and so on. I mean, when I went down there, honestly, I'm going down there at gunpoint because I don't know what's going on there, and it's desolate, it's dark, and you don't want to get shot and killed, and that's the mentality of police officers, is that you always think you're going to get shot and killed wherever you basically go. And so we went down there, and there was a lot of debris and a lot of beds, and there was water, and it was very sad situation. And I personally, we're trying to help people in general. It's been a long time. It's been about 6 years, but I know that they're always trying to do community outreach, but I'm sure there's a time they're trying to do like active enforcement, because sometimes people have warrants and they're wanted for larger crimes, and they're also hiding down there as well. What's your thoughts right now? So if a police officer went down into the underground, you guys are going down for helping. Are most people scared if they see the police down there? Like, what's your experience?
I think that they're pretty responsive to the fact that it's police. Most they clear the area
They'll clear the area if the police come.
immediately.
But are most police coming saying, hey, clean up the area? Because when I went down, there was more for community outreach.
I think that it's gotten a lot better over the years.
Okay.
I think that when we were down there ourselves personally, I think that it was more policing, more about, you guys can't live down here,
Okay.
I had some negative interaction with the police down there, and I never felt like they were down there to help. Now, since we've been doing this, we've made a lot of really great connections with Metro. There's a beautiful program that's kind of sprung up. It's called LIMA. I'm going to have to punt to you for the acronym because I always butcher it, but it's like law
Enforcement and mental.
Yeah, law enforcement and mental health and abuse, or drug abuse or something. I always kill that.
Okay.
But what they're doing is they're going down there, and it's not about citing them. It's not about policing them. It's really just about, hey, listen, we have some options for you if you're interested in getting out of here. They do use the leverage that they have of being the law, and that's like, hey, you're trespassing, and we can write you a ticket, or you can take our hand and we'll take you to a program that'll help keep you off the streets and maybe change your life.
So you guys go down there in a group. How many people? It's every Saturday, you said. So, by the way, are you looking for volunteers to help out, or do you have enough?
Always.
So if anyone wants to volunteer, anyone that's listening basically in general that wants to help out, we'll give contact information later. But if you want to basically go out and help out. So when you go down there, is it different groups that go out? Like, how many tunnels are you doing on a Saturday?
We have teams. We usually have anywhere from 40 to 50 people every weekend, and we split it up depending on how many leads show up. We try to do smaller teams because we're obviously going into their homes. So we try to average between 5 and 7 people on a team, and then, like he said earlier, the lead has his area. And we
Got
send
it.
them out. That way, if it's a random rotation of volunteers, they at least know the lead. That's like the gatekeeper when you're walking in. That's Johnny. That's Johnny. How you doing? You know what I mean?
A familiar face.
Yeah.
So you keep track. How many tunnels are there? Like, if you looked at, do you have a map that says, all right, we have 10 tunnels? Like, how many?
I have a very outdated map. It's since been expanded on, and I don't know how many tunnels there are. I know there's about 600 miles of flood drains built underground, and the trick becomes discovering how to get in, right? Like, because they're not all easily accessible. My tunnel was very easy. It was right behind a Lowe's and in Henderson. And you could just climb down a ladder and walk right in. His tunnel, you had to go through a manhole just to get in there. There's no real access to get to the part where they were living. I think, though, after being homeless for the amount of time that we were both homeless, as well as doing this for the amount of time we've been doing this, we've become very good at identifying, I can't tell you how often I drive past an area and I'll rubberneck it and I'll be like, that's how you get in. Like, you're keen. And I
Got
think
it.
you might be able to relate as a police officer.
Yeah.
You start to see things that I don't know that the average eye is looking for.
If you don't mind sharing, because a lot of people like hearing these different stories of what you've gone through in general and then what you've got out of, which is probably an amazing story. So when you were living in one of the tunnels, you said by Lowe's, by St. Rose?
Yeah.
So St. Rose and Eastern.
Yeah.
Got it. So behind the Lowe's, there's that wash, because I'm familiar with it. And normally, I think there's actually, and I've probably been there, there's a, what do you call it, like a ladder that you can go down, like a metal ladder, and there's
Right.
fencing that's there. So you were living, how long were you living there for?
I lived in that flood system for about 3 years.
3 years. Were you more to the left, more towards St. Rose?
Yes.
Because that's where the wash
Yep.
is, right? Where,
Well, I didn't live in the wash. I lived under St. Rose,
Under
and
it.
it would come out at Seven Hills,
Got it, yeah.
right behind that 7-Eleven back there.
yeah. So that's where it would come out.
Yeah, it's since been built over, so now there's a whole housing project over it. So where it used to come out is not where it comes out anymore. And I lived as far back as you could live in it. I sold drugs through the vents, like where it says, please don't litter, drains to Lake Mead. So I would sell drugs out of those vents for years. And I would ride a bicycle up and down, all the way down to Eastern and the 215, right behind the In and Out is where a different exit. So that's all connected. And those systems actually also run through close to the South Point, as well as Pecos and the 215. So really I could get in any of those three directions moving underground
Did you go that far? I mean, you go to the South Point?
every day. Every day.
Through the tunnel.
Methamphetamine's a hell of a drug. I just moved
That's a long-
lot.
That's a long route.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well-
But you don't, after doing it for so many years,
not-
like it doesn't feel as long as it really is. Like I would move very quickly through those tunnels. I remember in the beginning there's a fear factor, and like I don't know if you've ever like gone hiking, and when you're going to the destination it feels longer than when you're coming back
True.
because you don't know where you're going, right? And so there's always that experience underground is like it feels much longer to get where you're trying to figure out where you're going, but once you've done that and then you come back, it's the length of time in your mind seems to shorten.
That's incredible. Why would you not? It's kind of interesting. Why would you not just like go above ground, and basically, just go above ground? I mean, maybe because it's hot and sunny in Vegas, in general. But would you felt more comfortable being underground for transporting yourself from one spot to the other?
So
Just
I'm a meth addict. I'm a heroin addict. I'm constantly moving with drugs on me. And after years of being above ground and being stopped every hour
Feels
on
better
the
being
hour,
there.
every day, right? Like there's constant contact with other people. Like I can move freely underground without the risk of being stopped or being arrested or ticketed for paraphernalia. And
That's a good point. I mean,
over
I
time,
can see
you
it.
just kind of get trained to move underground. And I got really good about, I would leave things at certain exits so that I didn't even, when I came up, I could come out without anything so that if I got stopped, I wouldn't get in trouble. And then I could go down at a different spot and there would be something waiting for me there and so on and so forth. And I actually got out due to Henderson police. They came in, I had a warrant. I ran, if we're going to be completely transparent. I had prepared myself for that entire 3 years of how to travel through the tunnels without a light on so that when the police came, I could turn my light off and run, thinking that if they didn't see the light bouncing down the tunnel, I might get away. But I had some heroin on me, and I had waited days to do this heroin, and drug addiction's very loud in your mind. And even though I'm in the heat of the moment, and I know that I could have escaped, because here I have one way that takes me to South Point, one way takes me to Pecos in the 215, and I have no light and I know how to travel. My head's telling me, you need to get high, you need to get high, you need to get high. So I get to that wash that you're referencing, I climb up the wall, I go into Lowe's, I get high, Henderson comes up on me, and they arrest me.
Crazy story. It's amazing actually just to hear your story because, even though we think that we know what exists down there, we really don't. So it's amazing just to kind of hear your story and then getting out of it. When we're going to take a quick commercial break, basically, a quick minute. Some of the sponsors that are helping basically the Problem Solver Show. We have a few local law firms in town. We have the Richard Harris Law Firm. We have the Defenders Law Firm. We have Ticket Busters, basically helping basically sponsor the show. So we're going to do a quick minute commercial. We're going to come back, and then if you don't mind, Rob, love to get into your story as well, because I think people just don't know this stuff exists, and by you sharing the story, it just covers, I was about to say, it shines a light on the situation that does exist underground, and basically, what you guys are doing are just amazing, especially because you've come from that experience, so you know what it's all about, and now you're helping people. So when we get back, we're going to talk to Rob a little bit more about this. So we'll be back in a quick minute. Thank you.
Another day in Nevada, and we're lucky enough to call it home. The world knows us for our entertainment, but the best part about living here is the everyday people of our communities. And when one of us gets injured in an accident, well, I guess you could say it's personal. We fight for the people of Nevada every day. The Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.
I recommend the Defenders because they say what they're going to do and they do what they say.
You're the client, they're working for you, the attorney is your attorney.
I am very impressed with the relationship the Defenders has with their clients, and I hope to continue working with them.
It's not just signing people up, getting clients. It's we're going to take care of your problems, and they care about people.
Neither one of us are giving a handout to those people so that they could take advantage, but both of us are giving them that massive hand up.
From the moment I came into the office, everyone working at the front desk was super nice and just made me feel like I was at home.
When you call, you know that they're working for you and that they want the best for you.
Universal Motor Cars, your one-stop shop for all things auto, service, body repair, collision repair, free towing with repair, all under one roof. State-of-the-art paint equipment and facilities, trained certified technicians, lifetime warranty on paint. Universal Motor Cars accepts all insurance. Over 10 years in business. LVAC members receive 10% off labor. Call 702-754-6774.
Welcome back to The Problem Solver. We're here today with some amazing people doing some amazing work. Thank you for joining us again. We just had a quick minute break, and we're back. Again, if you have any type of problem that you have, you want to call on the show at any time, we'll put the numbers on the screen, basically, that if you want to call in, you have a problem, that I can basically share some ideas and suggestions. You can call. Toll-free number is 855-502-4321. That's 855-502-4321. See the numbers on your screen. If you want to call and you have a question, I can guide you or refer you to somebody that can help. Remember, there's no problem that's too small and too big. We're back here with Paul Vautrinot. Am I saying that right?
Vautrinot.
I knew I was going to screw that up. Vautrinot. I'm like horrible with names these days. Paul and then Rob Banghart again with Shine a Light, which is a foundation and program helping people that are basically, in the tunnels, that are basically a little bit down on their luck, and they're going out and technically shining a light, on these people's lives, and as they're down there, shining a light on people's belongings and people in general that basically need help. So I'm here, to basically talk about the program. We went over a little bit of the story. Paul was sharing his story, which was incredible to hear. And if a lot of people just don't know what exists, and you may think you may be having a bad day, and there's other people that may be having a lot worse of a day in general. So Paul and Rob basically both have lived underground in a tunnel and basically have struggled and have overcome it, and now they're helping people, in the community basically with many different things, whether it's housing, drug counseling, case management, job training, helping people get a GED, food, water, clothing, flashlights, and so on. So Paul kind of shared a little bit of his story, living in the tunnel. How long, quick question again, Paul, how long did you live in the tunnel there?
3 years.
3 years. And then Rob, how long did you live?
I was homeless for 5. I lived in a tunnel for about 2.5.
2.5. So Paul shared his story. If you don't mind, I'm not sure if it's really hard to talk about. I mean, sometimes it's helpful to talk about if you had a certain, situation. Tell us about where you were living and your experience living on the ground.
I was homeless in a different area of town. I was in over by the Las Vegas Rescue Mission, so it was a little bit more downtown, kind of in that triangle of the homeless shelters.
It was like
And,
Owens, is that what it is?
mine was Bonanza City.
Okay.
Yeah, and my tunnel was kind of behind the Main Street station on some train tracks.
Okay.
And I had like a progression of homelessness. I was on the surface for a while, like he was talking about, and in the bandos, and just kind of progressively went down. And then eventually the day came when, I needed the security, what I thought, the security of living underground. But my tunnel was a little bit different, and Paul was talking about how he traveled through his tunnel. My tunnel wasn't like that. It was just kind of a drop down, a section we lived in, but we weren't walking all around the tunnels like that.
So you first started above ground, and then you decided to go underground because you felt it was more like secure?
Yeah, for sure. There was definitely a progression, right? Like in the beginning, I was just outdoors and in tents, and then I would go into a bandos. Then I would get close to the homeless shelters. Like I was close to the mission. I knew the meal schedules. I knew where to be to get food.
Okay.
And then as I progressed deeper and deeper into homelessness, eventually the day came.
So you would come out when there was certain times to go get food at the missions, right?
Oh yeah, it almost becomes like primal when you're homeless, right? Like I could have told you what time it was, but I could tell you by the way people were moving, they were going to get food, right? The shelters are responsible for a different meal period.
Got it.
So like Catholic Charities was breakfast, Salvation Army was lunch, the mission was dinner. So I stayed close by the mission because I knew I had access to that, and I was close to downtown.
Got it. I've driven by, the different shelters several times, not being a police officer and being a police officer, maybe transporting someone. Tell me, I get confused a little bit. Like, tell me what's going on in that area over there, because it's funny, not funny, but it's interesting. You actually more like in the suburb,
Yeah, well, that was planned. It was less congested.
Yeah.
I
He was
made
more in the city, like,
I made decent money because I was like one of 5 homeless people. You know
It was,
what I mean?
it was more rare,
Yeah.
And that's what happens, right? Like people they go further out. Less,
Yeah.
It's like competition, right?
Yeah.
Like less competition. If you. So, but you were like really in the heart where everything takes place, and I always get confused. Share some light on the situation about that area. I mean, like how do you change it? Like I guess what it comes down to is like how do you really help people that are homeless? And I know it's hard if they basically have an addiction problem. How do we break the cycle? How do you change these things in general? Like how do we stop? I always feel bad when people drive by that area by the shelters. I mean, how do we change these things? How do we help people more? Because there's a lot of nonprofit programs that are out there, right? That are helping people, but they also need to want the help as well, right? So if I don't want the help, then or let's say I've suffered from mental illness, then I just want to be on my own. Tell me just what your thoughts about what's going on with all the shelters and stuff.
I think that Paul words it pretty well, right? When people ask us what we should do to make a difference, like just have a conversation, right? Like overall, we need to change our perception of what is going on, right? And who these are people. Right? These are human beings, somebody's daughter, somebody's brother, whatever it is, and they're out there for a lot of different reasons. You know what I mean? A lot of different reasons, and we just have to focus on simple human kindness, right? Like we just lost that, right? We become desensitized to the fact that they're there and what's going on, and
we create these narratives. Oh, they're drug addicts and they're there by choice, and
Yeah.
wouldn't they should just stop. And there's shelters. So that's, and to answer your question, probably not very specifically, but the problem is that every nonprofit has their own mission, and it's a lot of us treat different parts of what the problem is. So, you have a lot of the homeless shelters downtown that are really just there to help and be kind to the homeless. And they offer them food, and they offer them clothing, and they offer them these services to help them and treat them like human beings.
yeah.
It's really about breaking down the silos that exist amongst all of these different players so that we can treat these people holistically, right? So you have your drug and alcohol programs, and you have your mental health programs, and then you have your housing programs, and then you have your outreach programs who are all working singularly to help the problem. The beautiful thing about Shine a Light is we get to, we're not, competition to anybody. We're going out, we're meeting these people, and we're trying to link them into all of these services, so we get to kind of blend all of these different services that exist to treat the whole person as opposed to a part of the problem.
So here's a good question. So, you know, my kids are younger, 6, 4, and 2, and we're in the car, and we see someone that's homeless on a corner with a sign. And, you know, it feels bad because, well, now with COVID the last year, you know, do you want to open your window and give something, or people give money in general? I guess the question is, how do you really help people like that are on the corner, you know, that are like begging for money? You feel bad. People just, you know, you don't want to like see the person, right? The blind eye situation. I mean, what do you... I guess here's my question. Like, what are your thoughts about from maybe previously doing it or being on the street? Like, do you think that the average person that sees somebody should be giving money?
I think that's every individual's. I think that what we should do is engage more. So even if it's not money, like, you know, there's so many services available to the homeless that if you didn't feel comfortable giving them a couple dollars, you can give them a phone number, you can give them a water bottle, but to engage them more. Like, I don't know if you ever watch, like, they'll go past 40 cars that stare straight, like they won't even be looked at. It's almost like
They don't exist.
you know what I mean? And engagement is what changes it. So a lot of what we deal with, why people go underground, is because they've lost faith in the systems that were built to protect them. So they go underground and they say, screw it, I'm done. This is the life I'm going to live, and this is where I'm going to go, and I'm going to stop asking for that type of help. And a lot of that has to do with disengagement. A lot of that has to do with the safety net that we've tried to build, not really being able to support the weight of the problem that exists.
The thing is, I think people, and maybe because I'm a retired cop, and you know, the mentality that we always think that we're going to be hurt, is that I don't want to open my window because I'm afraid, right?
Sure.
I mean, I also grew up in New York City, so things are a little bit different there. Especially now, things have kind of gone back in time. I think people are afraid to open their window in general. Some people are not. They give money in general. But like I had someone the other day I saw, you know, maybe they were on addiction, and basically they were like, you know, I had the sign, and they were slowly, you know, moving their head down and like falling asleep. And I feel like if I'm giving them money, that it's probably, you know, towards heroin and towards drugs. So I feel bad. I like to help them. I like to say, hey, call 211 or give the card out, or hey, this, you know. But they may think like I'm crazy. The other day I was by a Walmart, and there was a girl going in and out, looking for money, saying that she needed rental money. She's going to lose her place. And I said, by the way, you know, I feel bad. I said, I don't have anything, but I said, call 211, which is United Way, where basically refer you to some place if you need help, rental assistance, or they have these like homeless voucher programs and different things. She probably looked at me like I was crazy. I happened to come back, and here on the screen right now is 211. Are you familiar with 211 United Way? Yeah. A lot of people don't know about it. I always bring it up because I think every single week, right, they update 211 of what nonprofits helping people, or shelters or different places. So I always refer people to 211, just like it's 911 or 311 or 411. So I told the woman, hey, call 211. She probably looked at it was nuts. I drove away, and we went back 20 minutes later. She's still in the community and by the Walmart parking lot. And then there was a cop. Someone must have called the police, and the police kind of chased her out. She jumped over a wall, you know, slowly. You know, you feel bad. You want to help people, and you know, and I agree. So basically, what you're saying is, if you feel comfortable giving money, and that's what you want to do, that's your priority.
Sure.
If you want to give water or something, but the biggest thing is trying to treat people with kindness. Sometimes I feel when I keep seeing the same person, I feel like if I kept giving them money, I'm not really making a change. But I guess for the time, you know, maybe I'm helping them get food or water.
I always tell a story, and you know, you're right. Some of us are drug addicted, and some of that money goes in that direction. One day I was sitting in front of a Terrible Herbst, and I was not high. I hadn't done any drugs, and I was nodding out, and I couldn't figure it out myself. I didn't understand why I couldn't keep my head up. I was like extremely exhausted. Like I'm like falling asleep sitting in front of the store, and I hadn't been able to make any money for like an hour. And this guy walks up to me, and he puts a bag of Wendy's down next to me. And I just start eating the food, and immediately came to. And what it was I hadn't eaten in days, and I didn't really process that. It didn't click.
Got it.
You never know, and that's the idea. If you choose to give money, what we've always been taught that I love is if I'm giving you money, then it's none of my business what you do with that money. Like, I'm not giving you money with any kind of rule, or here you go, use this how you may.
Okay.
And they still need to eat. They still need water. You know what I mean? And
Essentials.
and so you really don't know where they're going to use that, and to assume is almost a disservice to that community effort that we're trying to promote. That like kindness goes a long way, engaging them goes a long way. But even down to the bare necessity of like what I try to do, especially when I'm in a hurry, if there's somebody there, I just look at them, throw the little head nod, "How you doing, bud? You good?" You know what I mean? Like, and I might be moving too quick to even really engage them in a human way, but I'm acknowledging, and acknowledgement goes just as far.
Yeah, one nonprofit I saw, which was pretty cool. They have like a bag. It's a blue bag, and inside there's like water, like hygiene, socks, and some things in general, where you actually can give the bag out. And I gotta find out the nonprofit that was doing that. I thought that was really nice because at least there's like a bag they could put some things in,
Sure.
and then some essentials. At least you're giving something, in general. My kids that are younger, what we were doing was, and maybe you could share what would be a good thing to give for people that are just driving around that see someone that's homeless. With my kids, we were going to Fremont, just to do a good deed and teaching my kids basically. We first went to we went to Fremont Street, and there were more homeless kind of in the area. We went to the McDonald's, and I was trying to get different meals, like 20 bags, and we wanted to hand out food.
Yeah.
And we did that. It was funny because we asked the McDonald's person, "Can you put them in separate bags, like 20 hamburgers and 20 fries, and they didn't want to do it. So we were inside the McDonald's putting it, with the
Right.
kids, putting it in separate bags. And then we walked into Fremont, and anybody that we thought maybe would need food, we say, "Hey, would you like a Happy Meal?" It was like a meal,
Right.
And then I had the kids give it to them, my 4-year-old, giving, and we were there, and I said, "It's okay, give it to them." So, but then I realized that some people may not be hungry at the time. The food may go to a waste. So I changed it up a little bit where we got gift cards for $5 from McDonald's. And basically I would have the kids go on Fremont and basically give out the gift cards because if they're not hungry, the food's going to go to waste, right?
Maybe that, and $5 gift cards are safe. I always suggest keep it under 10.
Yeah.
What's the reason why?
Well, because then they start to have real value, and if your intention is to feed them and you give them something with too much value, that you may not, you know what I mean? But
They
again,
they
that's
can
none of your
trade it.
business if you give it to them. So
Got
I
it.
guess that's a double-edged sword. But listen, do you know what a Fluffernutter is?
No.
Peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich.
Okay, yeah.
So I made 50 of them one time, and I left them in the tunnel for 3 weeks, and the last one was eaten 3 weeks after I made the first one. I don't know that food goes to waste with the homeless. We save very ingenuitive. If you give them a hamburger, they'll eat that hamburger 8 hours later when they get hungry. Trust me, it's not going in the trash. I wouldn't overthink that moment.
Okay. So, by the way, someone on Facebook just messaged and they said, "Thank you, Paul, for sharing your story and for your transparency. This is a no-judge zone. Congratulations, and thank you for giving back to our Las Vegas community." So, again, I applaud you guys both for basically going above and beyond. And basically, like I said, we all struggle. Every day, I think everybody has a struggle. I think that we all need to pay it forward and help people, and I'm all about that as well. Sometimes I think everyone's in a bad funk, for the day, and you got to figure out what helps you get through the day. With me personally, normally, believe it or not, you'll laugh, I normally shave. Every day I normally shave since the cop inside me, I'm always shaving every day to be clean, right? That's, one of the standards. And I normally have haircuts. I shave and get a haircut. Actually, I'm upset with myself today because normally I try to go Monday, Tuesday for a haircut. I get all this light gray coming in. So I normally shave it. I feel cleaner. I feel better. But normally, everyone can get depressed at one point in time. And that's where some people resort to drugs and resort to other things. So everyone's going to find out what's good for them to kind of change your thought process and take some action. It's kind of like Tony Robbins, change your mental state, and everyone's going to figure out what it is. Maybe it's go to the gym, work out, go talk to somebody, go for a cup of coffee, whatever it is that's going to change your, your mental status to put you in a different position to do positive things for the day. And I think we all, a lot of people suffer from depression, and you could also be having a bad day. So, again, you guys are making a big difference to the community for people that basically you've been there and you're basically helping, you're giving back, and you're providing social services to a lot of people that would never go into that tunnel. And most people don't even know it exists,
Yeah.
So, so if you don't mind, let's go back to Rob real quick. So, Rob, you were downtown, Owens, whatever, in that particular area, went underground. Tell us a little bit about your experience once you went underground, because you were more in the heart of downtown Las Vegas.
I would say that, again, it was the progression, right? And it was a progression in a lot of different ways, not only with the drug addiction, but with the homelessness and the behaviors and everything attached to it. And By the time I got to the tunnel, I was so, I think Paul was saying, like detached from society, right? Like just so detached from society. And I never had anybody coming into my tunnels. And it probably because the way the entrance was set up, you couldn't just walk into it.
Okay.
I never saw any services while I was down there. And then in my tunnel, there was
So nobody ever came down, like the group
No.
Shining Light never came through?
No.
Because it was such a hard spot to get to.
Yeah, it was
I didn't
kind
even
of
know
isolated.
about it.
Really?
It was kind of isolated where it's at. If you weren't from that area, you wouldn't know where it was. You couldn't find it.
Okay. Were other people in that tunnel besides you?
There was upwards. At one point, we had like 30 people, but it would fluctuate a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and by the end, like it's empty right now.
It is empty?
Yeah.
You went back to check? And
Oh yeah, I've gone back. The end of my story was I was attacked by 3 people,
okay.
and they left me for dead in some train tracks. They hit me with a hatchet. Pretty gruesome ending, right? And I have since doing Shine a Light seen all 3 of them that attacked me and thanked them. I've gone back to my tunnel. I've seen somebody in my tunnel that had died in my tunnel. He overdosed. We went down a week later. The caution tape was still there. You know what I mean? Like,
We got, not to stop you right here, we got a quick call. Let's just answer this call real quick and then we'll go back. That's a crazy story. I apologize for breaking up that story, Rob. Anyway, we got a caller on the air. This is Dave Coleman, the Problem Solver. What's your name?
This is Phil. I'm calling from Las Vegas. I have a quick question. First of all, I want to extend a great pat on the back and congrats to your guests for getting through to where they are today and providing. But earlier on, one of your guests mentioned that what they look for are volunteers, but I'm sure when they hand out water or any other supplies that they need, do those items get donated? Do they have funding to buy? I'd like to learn more about if I want to make a donation for those hard products. How would we go about that? So can you fill that in for me?
sure. If you go to our Facebook page, we have an Amazon wish list with the items that we usually hand out each week, and then you could reach out directly, obviously, for.
So that's on Amazon?
It's an Amazon wish list, so it's at Shine a Light LV on Facebook. And no, we don't have any kind of external funding. Everything that we do is driven by him and I. We just raise money on a daily basis. A lot of the money that we do raise goes to housing people after our programs.
Okay.
So we get them in for 90 days on scholarships in Crossroads or Freedom House. And then after, we have to transition them to community housing, which is $600 a month traditionally. And so a lot of the money that we raise goes to that, which is why we created the Amazon wish list, so that we can keep the supplies coming in at the same rate as the money coming in, because it serves 2 separate purposes. We try not to spend any money on supplies.
By the way, I appreciate you calling in. Anyone have any other phone calls or questions, please call in. So thank you for calling it in. And
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And getting the information. So I'm here on the laptop here, basically with your Shine a Light Facebook page. Where exactly is the wish list?
Each post.
Oh, each post has it?
Each post I attach it. Please click on the
Click
bottom.
To those who we serve, please click to donate. Okay. So if I click on the button right now, which will go there, so it goes to Amazon. So the Shine a Light. Okay. You know, I've heard of this before. So it's basically your wish list, and then where does the items go if someone wants to buy it?
Ships directly to Freedom House.
Yeah.
And Shine a Light's on the box, the name.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what? I'm going to urge anyone to basically that's watching this, and we're going to be sharing this podcast to a lot of different groups. So I want to basically do a challenge. We'll do a Shine a Light challenge, where if anybody could basically go online to Amazon, go to Shine a Light LV, and if you can just add to the cart one item and basically paid for, which is so with the click of a button, basically making a huge big difference in the community. Here, basically, is whether it's gloves, LED flashlights, we have food, snacks, batteries. I'm going through here, just kind of scanning through in general. Hats. Now it's getting a little bit warmer out, but I'm sure it's still cold at nighttime. All these different things. All you gotta do is click on the button, add to cart, and basically the stuff will go to Freedom House. Then it will go to the volunteers, and every Saturday they're going to go out and basically deliver and distribute the stuff to people that basically need. And eventually, I'm assuming that every Saturday that you go, eventually some people say, hey, I need more help. Like, I need to get out of this, right? You're building the relationship. You're building the connection. Eventually, you're hoping to say, look, when it's your time, right, then basically please let us know. We want to help you, right?
Well, that's the goal.
It's key.
I mean, I think if you see what we hand them, it's we take these sports bottles and we pack them. Batteries, socks.
Inside the water bottle?
And that's what we're handing them. That's it.
Okay.
So we're not giving them things that's going to make life easier. We're not helping, perpetuate the problem. Like, what we're giving them might get them through the next 24 to 48 hours. The idea is it's a conversation starter in hopes that one day they say, hey, what is it that you guys are doing on the back end that can help me get out of this?
No, by the way, I have a lot of water, the empty ones like from Walmart. So I have a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna get it for you guys in general. But I'm gonna stick to this. For the month. Every month we have a different nonprofit, and basically I want to make you guys the nonprofit for the month of April. I had to think to myself what month we're on because every month is moving these days. That basically have a Shine a Light challenge. We also have on my Facebook. I rather personally have people spend money on your Amazon page. I have shirts, the Problem Solver shirts, and anyone that buys a shirt, basically, you can click on Shine a Light. I'll just show you real quickly. But I'd rather people spend money, with your Amazon page. But if you go to the Problem Solver and you click on the shirt, basically, where it says merchandise, the Problem Solver shirt that you basically see on the screen, $14 of every shirt will go towards the fundraiser of the month. And based on the bottom of the screen, you can click where it says, do you have a fundraiser or charity? It says the Shine a Light Foundation. You can click on that. And then basically that money will basically go towards your organization. But I really want people to spend money with your Amazon wish list. So I'm definitely going to push it out for this month. Let's see if I can make things happen and pay it forward that way in general. We're going to take, I know we were in your story. We're going to take a quick minute break again for some of the sponsors making the show possible. When we get back, I want to talk to Rob to finish up his story because that was a horrific story, and you survived it, which is amazing. So I wanted to go back to that a little bit. And then, again, I want to thank the sponsors for helping the show on a weekly basis every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, bringing great people, community leaders, nonprofit organizations that are helping people make Las Vegas a better community. Of course, we're trying to get rid of, it sounds weird to say get rid of homeless. We want to basically help the homeless people in general to basically have a better life and a better future because everyone basically deserves that, on this planet. So we'll be back in a quick minute, and thanks for joining us.
Meet Joe. Joe's a very busy guy. He's always driving from work to meet friends. And sometimes Joe's in a hurry and doesn't follow all the rules. Joe just got a traffic ticket. Traffic tickets are a major hassle. You have to take time off work to go to court and stand in long lines. A couple days later, Joe saw his friend Matt. Joe tells Matt about his traffic ticket troubles. Another traffic ticket? Just call Ticket Busters. Ticket Busters? What's Ticket Busters? Ticket Busters is the quick and easy traffic ticket solution with licensed attorneys. Ticket Busters went right to work for Joe's ticket. Ticket Busters did all the work, saving Joe time and stress. A few weeks later, Joe receives a call from Ticket Busters, and his traffic ticket has been resolved with no points, no traffic school, and no insurance increase. Ticket Busters helped Joe bust his ticket, and Ticket Busters can help you too. Go to ticketbusters.com, download our app, or call 702-666-6666.
Activated.
Welcome back to The Problem Solver. Thank you for joining us again. We have a good 10 minutes left to get some great information out to everybody, the listeners and viewers. Again, Go Live Vegas app is the app as a network, but it's basically an app that you can basically, different programs, different shows like The Problem Solver. Please download it. If you need to get in touch with myself, Dave Kohlmeyer, The Problem Solver, and the other problem solvers that I work with, also a lot of attorneys and legal professionals in the community that I work with, you can reach me at 702-400-7474. Again, 702-400-7474. You can also go to theproblemsolver.vegas, theproblemsolver.vegas. We'll have a quick QR code where if you want to basically add the QR code basically to your phone, there will be a app and you can add it to your home screen. We're also going to be doing a new thing with the Problem Solver on a weekly basis. If you add the Problem Solver to your home screen, we'll start doing like push notifications, and we're going to do some giving out some gift cards and giving some things out, some promotional stuff, just to basically pass the word on what the Problem Solver basically is doing. With that said, we're back here with Paul and Rob, basically with Shine a Light, a nonprofit helping people in the tunnels, getting people to a better life. We got interrupted by a phone call, which was great that the phone call came through, asking how people can donate. We talked about Amazon, a wish list. Again, I'm going to share that on all the different Facebook and social media websites, how people can donate, where if they don't want to open their window, that you guys every Saturday are giving things out, in the tunnels or homeless people in general. Rob, just finish up your story. You basically were saying it was a bad situation where you got hit over the head. Just if you could recap it. I'm sorry to break that off before.
Yeah, the tail end of it, I was attacked by three gentlemen. I was attacked by three other homeless people that, course of living out there. I mean, my thing was addiction, but also I was committing small crimes and to further my addiction, and it caught up to me. And they left me for dead on some train tracks, and then I woke up in a hospital bed on life support 3 days later.
How did someone find you?
It was where it was at. There was 4 small businesses, and someone happened to be working like an overnight shift or something. Saw it, called an ambulance, and when they came, they picked me up and started zapping with the paddles.
Really?
Yeah.
So they brought you back to life?
Yeah. Yeah.
How long do you think you were out there for?
I'd be lying if I told you an answer.
So you were brought back to life by the train tracks. Is
Yeah.
it behind, what is it, the Main Street Hotel? Or something?
Washington. That was actually Washington and Main Street.
Okay.
There's like an old produce entrance to get into the tracks itself. My tunnel was along the tracks.
Okay. And you said you met these 3 people after in this program?
Oh yeah, after I had gone through Freedom House myself as in the inpatient and gone on to sober living, and began my journey in recovery. A big part of that was also following him out every Saturday and going out with him to do the tunnels. You know what I mean? And through a period of time, I started to see one here, one there. I didn't really go back to my area particularly right away. Obviously, I kind of just was out and about and with them, and then as I kind of got a little bit more on my feet, and I went back.
And you saw? Wait, I'm sorry. You saw these people at that location, or you just saw them
in the area?
In the area.
Yeah, not exactly.
And
the
did
same.
they remember you?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
I just really with most of them, I just walked up, asked them how they were doing, like I would anybody else, and I just said thank you. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like a
awakening.
It was more of a personal thing, right? Like I wasn't something I was saying to be demeaning in any way, shape, or form. Same basic conversation I had with everybody. Hey, how you doing? Can I help you? Do you need help? And then when I left to shake their hand, I would just say thank you, whether they knew what I meant or not. I knew.
But you knew it was definitely them.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen for a guy like me. You know what I mean? Like that moment brought me to where I'm at right now, and I'm forever thankful.
That experience in time basically got
Forever.
you to a different stage right now. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Because that's a crazy story, and I can imagine, going back in time and seeing that, live. Does the county or city help with funding these days? What do you feel about the programs? Is there money basically helping people, or any grants that you guys get?
Personally, no. That's a very convoluted answer as far as why we haven't pursued that yet. I know that what the county and city does, their involvement is pretty good. I mean, it's cool what they do to help a lot of the other programs that have pursued that funding. I know that there's a lot of misinterpretation of some of the things that the county and the city has done lately to kind of help with this problem, whereas from our perspective, it shows that they really are trying to make a difference. It really is a productive move that they're trying to make. I think some of it's in the beginning stages, and like with anything else in beginning stages, there's still some problems to be hashed out about their approach, but I think it's all in the right spirit.
Yeah.
How many programs do you think besides yours that are helping homeless? Because I've actually now haven't had a chance, but bringing it to different people. How many other programs are out there? And is there any community outreach that are like mobile? Like right now, if I see someone that's homeless, I think personally there should be like a number or somebody to call where like someone's in a corner and asking for money or they need help. I mean, you're supposed to call 311, which is not emergency, but it can take probably an hour sometimes to get through. Is there a mobile resource team that goes out for homeless that's like pretty quick?
Absolutely. Help of Southern Nevada is really good about that. Help is a very, very good resource if you're looking for like a mobile resource team 7 days a week.
How quick are they though? Like
I really don't know.
Got it.
I would hate to quote a time. I know that they're very responsive.
Help of Southern Nevada
Yeah.
would do that.
Yeah.
And the reason why is that, I thought actually on my app, because I wanted to do something with the homeless in general. I wanted to actually, not that it's the best idea, but my thought process with my app was that I want to add a spot where if you see someone that's basically homeless, that you can either like type in the location, or if you were safe from your car, take a photo of like the intersection of where someone's at, as long as it's safe and the person's not going to what are you doing? And then basically upload it, and it would be sent to maybe Help of Southern Nevada or somebody, and then basically somebody would like come out within a good 15-minute window, 20-minute window. And I felt that if there was a map and people would could click on it and give the location, that maybe we would help more people that way. Because I don't think there's anything. I guess it's like 911, 311, 411. Like 211 is United Way. I think we should have like a number where if someone needs help, and it's not just the police going out, but maybe mental health workers or case managers can go out. Like I said, if we call 311 right now, I just think it takes too long.
Sure, and alternative policing is a beautiful concept. I think that.
What does that mean to you in your eyes?
I think it means supporting the police in jobs that they were never meant to take on in the first place, by maintaining the support from them to help make sure that the environment's safe. I think that's what it is. I think that there's too far left and too far right when we talk about removing them completely or it's their job, right? Like I think that there's a way to blend that in a beautiful way where the police are there to support and help professionals do the jobs that the police were never intended to take on in the first place, but due to the funding issues or whatever, however it went down the pipeline, we kind of just threw it at them and said, okay, here, you got to do this now. And I don't know that that's fair to anybody. I don't know that's fair to the police, and I don't know if it's fair to the people that the police are trying to help.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I think it's for a major discussion in general.
Yeah.
We have 2-3 minutes left. I want to make sure we give your contact information out again. But just to recap, basically, Shine a Light, basically nonprofit, helping people, homeless people, getting a better way of life in general, providing social services. You work with Freedom House. You personally work with Crossroads, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you guys are connected. Share your phone numbers and your Facebook page. Again, I had the page out here before, but just share the main number to call if anyone wants to volunteer or help out.
So you can email us is the best way to respond to us, which would either be paul@shinealightlv.com or rob@shinealightlv.com. My phone number, if you Google my name or you Google Shine a Light, you'll find my phone number. It's 702-863-4704. So I don't answer my phone a lot. You have to text me if you really want to get connected. I just happen to be in a lot of meetings. I'm a very busy guy, but please, any way you want to help. I understand we have people that have come out of the tunnels. One of our requirements is, not requirements, one of our asks is that you come back and you give back with Shine a Light. And there's a few people that aren't able to do that and they help from afar. One of them, in general, her name is Beth, and she is huge on the part about getting stuff into us, socks, batteries, flashlights. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to help if you find yourself wanting to do so.
Yeah, share the posts, like the posts, help us get our message out. You know what I mean? Everything helps.
So again, Shine a Light is a Facebook page. There's also a button that says contact us. Again, you guys have the wish list as well, which is linked up as well. We'll get that out. Again, I'm challenging everybody that listens to this. We're going to share it out. If there's 300 people or 500 people that listen for the worst week or two, and all of you click one item, you guys would be making a huge difference. I would love to basically have tons of Amazon boxes
Be amazing.
at the Freedom House, basically pile up and say, wow, this is amazing. Just real quick question before we got a minute left is, how do you know it's safe to approach someone? We talk to somebody like someone's on a corner. Again, what you're saying is, don't judge people what they're going to do. If you're going to give money, give money. They're going to do what they want. Maybe lower amounts is better in regards to them buying food, or so they're not buying drugs with it. More of the essentials is what I kind of felt from talking to you guys. But how do you know it's safe to approach someone or open your window? What's your gut feeling about that?
For the most part, if they're out in public, they're safe.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to give you that as a rule of thumb, but the reality of it is the ones that are out and about, that are flying the signs, that are at the stores, that are asking for money, for the most part, like, they know that they're being watched. There's a lot of people around. Like, just avoid sordid areas. If you see him in a back alley sitting against a wall and it's dim lit, I wouldn't approach him. If you see him in front of a Chevron and they're asking for some change, they're probably pretty safe.
Yeah, I have the same approach even with underground as I do above ground. I mean, if I give him $1 or $2, that's just my key to a conversation. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? How are you? You know what I mean?
Got it. Paul and Rob, I really appreciate you being guests on the show of The Problem Solver. I'm glad you got the
Thanks
message
for having
out.
us.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully I'll have you guys back on the show in the future. I'm going to do my part to basically help you guys in general. I urge everybody to get involved with Shine a Light if you want to volunteer on a Saturday morning to get an experience about helping people that are less fortunate than you. Get in touch with Paul and Rob. Go to the Facebook page. Like, share, comment. And again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are good and well, and you guys are helping other people. Again, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for all the listeners and watchers today. And again, The Problem Solver every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, helping people solve a problem, one problem at a time. Thanks for joining us.
Another day in Nevada, and we're lucky enough to call it home. The world knows us for our entertainment, but the best part about living here is the everyday people of our communities. And when one of us gets injured in an accident, well, I guess you could say it's personal. We fight for the people of Nevada every day. The Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.